All of our bodies are made up of 20,000 genes. Genes tell a cell how to function and what traits to express. Your genes are a small part of a long molecule called DNA, or deoxyribonucleic acid. It is coiled so tightly that it fits in just one cell nucleus. DNA is a double-stranded molecule composed of sugar, phosphate, and 4 different bases: A, T, C, and G. These bases spell out the language known as the genetic code. The number and order of these 4 bases determine, for example, whether you're a chimp, a horse, a banana, or a human. Most genes are recipes for making specific proteins. These recipes are passed down from parents to children, from generation to generation. When someone says, "You have your mother's hair," what they mean is, you appear to have inherited a gene or genes from your mother that makes a protein that instructs your hair follicle cells that produce hair that curls like your mother's. But they usually opt for the shorter version. Our genetic code is specific from one person to another. We pass on traits such that determine if we have blue or brown eyes, straight or curly hair, attached or free-hanging earlobes, as well as more unusual traits such as the ability to touch our tongues to our nose, roll our tongues into a taco shape, or bend our thumb back in a 90-degree angle between the 2 joints to form a hitchhiker's thumb. Each of your traits has 2 or more variations called alleles, which are variations of a gene. When 2 different alleles are present, they interact in specific ways. A dominant allele trait is always observed, even when a recessive allele is present. A recessive allele is hidden or covered up by a dominant allele. The only time a recessive trait is observed is when 2 recessive alleles are inherited together. Let's take a look at this. Dominant traits occur when only one copy of the dominant gene is inherited. The placement of your thumbs when you clasp your hands by interlocking your fingers may be controlled by a single gene. The placing of the left thumb over the right is due to a dominant gene. An individual who is homozygous recessive would prefer the right thumb on top, like this young gentleman here. Now, clasp your hands together. Most people place their left thumb on top of the right. This happens to be the dominant phenotype. Now, for fun, try clasping your hands so that the opposite thumb is on top. Feels strange and unnatural, doesn't it? The other type of trait you can inherit is a recessive trait. In some people, the ends of the earlobes are attached to the skin on the neck, like this young lady here. The allele for attached earlobes is recessive, and the allele for the unattached earlobe is dominant. Most people have free-hanging earlobes. A recessive trait is caused by a recessive gene, which means that someone must inherit 2 copies of the gene, instead of 1 like a dominant trait, for the trait to manifest. My earlobes are free-hanging. What are yours? Thus far, we have treated the phenotype of a human as a simple result of the alleles of a single gene. However, what most people don't realize is that not all genes use the logical method for determining which trait we inherit. Alleles do not always exhibit clear-cut dominance or recessiveness. For example, if one of the child's parents has curly hair, while the other has straight hair, the chances of the child having wavy hair, the intermediate between curly and straight, are the most. Similarly, the reason your nose seems to be a blend of both parents is because those genes have some alleles from your mother and some from your father. Isn't that just startling? This is known as incomplete dominance. When 2 different alleles of the same gene are joined together, a phenotype is produced that is not like either parent. Incomplete dominance is used for a variety of other traits, such as face shape and the size of your nose. The traits we inherit can be even more complicated. Did you know that some traits use more than 1 gene pair to determine what to do? Or that some genes have more than 2 alleles? Humans differ from each other in greater or lesser amounts. The long molecules of DNA containing your genes are organized into pieces called chromosomes. Different species have different numbers of chromosomes. Humans have 46, or 23 pairs of chromosomes. Chimpanzees have 24 pairs. Horses have 32 pairs of chromosomes. And bananas? Bananas have 11 pairs. But what percentage of the DNA in your chromosomes do you share with other humans? 99.5%. The other 0.5% is what makes you unique from one another. So, have people ever said to you, "It's in your genes"? Your body is full of many unusual quirks. It's purely a fascinating thing, genes, the specific segments of DNA. Now, you can proudly roll your tongue and show off your widow's peak, because you are you.